Hey, I'm Lise Colucci. I'm one of the life coaches at QueenBeeing.com. We're going to talk today about healthy relationships versus toxic relationships. A lot of people will ask, what does a healthy relationship even look like? Or they question the one they're in being toxic, sometimes having a little comparison to what is healthy and what healthy looks like can help you break free from trauma bonds and get out of things that are toxic for you in your life, or at least give you something to compare with, right? So that you can make your own choices. Okay, so hey, Darlene. So let's just jump in. Um, if you need any help with anything, stay tuned to the end where I'll give you all the information about how to get a hold of me or how to get coaching or group coaching. Otherwise, let's start with healthy versus toxic relationships. And I have a lot of notes here because this is a big topic, right? I have to kind of try to get as many points as I can. So basically, a healthy relationship has a foundation of trust, a foundation of safe, trusting, stability, security, and respect. There's regularity that is predictable. Contrast that with a toxic relationship. It's insecure, it is unsafe, it is walking on eggshells, it is constantly filled with intermittent reinforcement. And if you don't know what that is, it is giving you love bombing and devaluing, praise and tearing you down, idealizing and destroying you. Intermittently, meaning not on a regular schedule, just randomly. You don't know when it's coming. It's unpredictable. Toxic relationships are unpredictable. They you don't know if that other person is going to show up there for you, if they're going to have your back, if they're going to be there. Okay, so there's the major obvious difference. Hello, Ella. Okay, so basically, let's go over some contrasting things. Mutual respect. A healthy relationship, there is mutual respect. In a toxic relationship with a narcissist, you've got one-sided respect that's expected to be given toward the narcissist while you sit there and get disrespected over and over, whether it be in every area of your life, right? Okay. Um, Emotional intimacy in a healthy relationship can look like sharing, listening, active listening. Whoa, what's that when you have a narcissist around, right? Um, Kindness in that when you are sharing something emotionally difficult for you, the person is not threatening. They are safe. They are um, available, right? In a relationship with a narcissist that is toxic, there's emotional withholding. There's demands on your emotions. There's emotional demandingness that you give to them but don't receive, or that you accept the breadcrumbs that you're given. There's a lack of trust with intimacy. I'm talking about emotional intimacy, but that goes into all intimacy, right? There's lack of safety. You never feel safe, and yet you keep being drawn to give them your emotional, you can tell them your emotional needs. They're never received, they're never met, they're never heard. Not that healthy relationships, your emotional needs are always met. That isn't the case. In a healthy relationship, we'll talk about conflict in a minute. Okay, I'm just kind of giving the overview of one versus the other. Then we'll talk about conflict. So stay tuned because I think the conflict part is the most important for when we're dealing with how to look for red flags and how to keep ourselves safe and how to know if your relationship is healthy or not. And where, I mean, okay, and here's something I want to say first. Not every relationship that isn't healthy is with a narcissist. We deal with narcissists here, and so I am focusing it more on that. But I don't believe every unhealthy exchange within a relationship means that that person's a narcissist. Not in any way. Okay, we all have, our relationships aren't all one thing or another. When you're in a healthy relationship, it's going to have parts of it that need work. That's just life. That's just, especially if you're older and have had trauma and have had toxic relationships in your life. We have to learn and grow. But a marker of a healthy relationship is one that can learn and grow. When you're with a narcissist or a toxic person that is a cluster B personality type, you're not going to see a lot of growth in the relationship. You will see a lot of growth within yourself, but it will never go anywhere because the relationship itself is toxic. When you have, I'm going to say what I say over and over again right now. I look at relationships like a soup. Okay, when you're putting in soup, putting your ingredients in the soup, and I say this all the time. So if you've heard it a million times, sorry. You're putting a bunch of ingredients in the soup. The other person's putting a bunch of ingredients in the soup, and you're creating what is called the relationship. So your needs, their needs, your concerns, their concerns, right? Okay. Every now and then, one of you throws in something weird like an old boot, and you're like, ew, why'd you put an old boot in the soup? That's an argument. That's a bad mood. That's a point of conflict that needs resolution. Okay. You pull that soup out, you look that boot out, you look at it, and you discuss and you have a debate or whatever you need to do to talk about whether that boot belongs in the soup, right? Probably not. You throw it out, you work on it. Sometimes it takes a little adjusting of ingredients, adjusting of what you do, both of you, to repair this soup so that it is still edible. Okay. Now, when you have a narcissist in the mix as the other person, they are not throwing ingredients in the soup, they're throwing poison in the soup. They're throwing poison in the soup because it's a lacking accountability. It is lacking the empathy needed to maintain a healthy relationship. And it's lacking the care and compassion that's needed to go into growing a relationship with someone else. Okay, so they're throwing poison in the soup. There is no way to pull out any ingredients and have that ingredient not be completely saturated in poison. So the relationship itself becomes toxic. There isn't a way to fix it. It's not because you're not good enough. It's not because you don't try hard enough. It's not because you have anxiety or you get reactive. It's none of that. Okay. The poison in the soup is the problem. The person pouring the poison in the soup is the problem. So let's go back to what is healthy and what is not healthy. Okay. Hey, Grace. Okay. Respectful conflict resolution. Respectful conflict engagement is healthy. You should be able to have respectful conflict. That's not going to say it looks pretty and people just sit there and go, oh, yes, dear, your turn. Oh, yes, dear. No, it's going to look like it looks between two people, depending on their own personalities, right? But when you have a toxic relationship, you have things like gaslighting, projecting, lack of accountability, blame shifting, lying, deceit, all the stuff that goes along with a toxic relationship within the conflict part of the relationship. And we're going to talk more about that in a little bit. So I'm going to skip on to the next thing and we'll come back to the conflict, okay? Because there's a lot to say in there. They work hard to derail any things we do. Yes, my ex blamed my weight for a couple of his affairs, but when I started doing workout videos, he mocked me until I quit. They hate when you do good. That is right. That's the poison, Darlene. That is the poison. That can't be removed. And that isn't because of you. That right? Okay. All right. In a healthy relationship, there is open and direct communication. Of course, this isn't 24/7, all right? This is just the majority of the relationship is you're able to be at ease, to be open and direct with your needs, your feelings, your thoughts, your beliefs, your understandings of things. There's a flow that is open and direct. In a toxic relationship, we have gaslighting. Every time we try to be direct, we have passive aggressive jabs. We have what did we call those? The backsided compliments. All of that going on that is not, or just their way of communicating is it lacks open and directness, right? Or overt directness that is cruel. It's a direct cruelty. So when I say open and direct communication, I mean kind communication. Okay. In a healthy relationship. In a healthy relationship, you will feel supported. You will feel like someone has your back. Okay. In an unhealthy relationship, you will feel alone. That's not to say you're always going to feel like, again, this is the whole of the relationship, not every moment of your life. Okay. And if anything in your relationship, if you feel you are in a healthy relationship and you're seeing any of these things as red flags, then that's maybe an area to improve your own relationship or improve yourself so that sometimes we feel alone because that's just our nature, right? But in an unhealthy relationship, it will be deliberate things that they do to cause you to feel alone. They won't be there. They won't be emotionally available. I mean, all these things that I'm talking about can cause that feeling in someone else. Okay. You feel in a healthy relationship secure and comfortable. Okay. In an unhealthy relationship, you feel insecurity and pain. You feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time. Okay. In a healthy relationship, you will feel you have shared values. Um, in a relationship with a narcissist, there will be some shared values. Of course, this is not black and white. This is a very colorful area thing to think about. Okay. But with them, you will find more often or very often one-sided um, one-sided values, like you're forced to follow their path and you don't have your own. You're forced to listen to their beliefs, you don't have your own. Okay, there's equal power in a healthy relationship. That doesn't mean all the time for all things. One person might have a little more say in one area because it's what they're good at, and another, you know what I mean? It's it feels okay. You're not just giving up your power. You're not giving up your agency. You're not doing for someone and getting nothing. Um, and then expected to give more. There's equal power in that nobody feels afraid to do or say something because of a power play about to happen. With a toxic person, there are power plays. There's a constant struggle for power. There's power games, and you'll find yourself feeling the need to control things often because of this power play that they're putting into the relationship, because everything they're doing is to maintain power. If you watched any of the videos from the last week, you'll hear it. Okay. Let's see. Lyle, what are we saying here? I'm going to read a few more and then I'm going to answer your question. Okay. Um, I'm just going to go through this a little bit more and then I'm going to get to your question. So I'm not ignoring you. Okay. They, in a healthy relationship, there is trust and honesty. If you're in a toxic one, you're laughing right now, going, "What the heck is that?" Right? In an unhealthy relationship, you can't trust a dang thing. You're constantly having to keep track, constantly having to wonder what the other person's doing, wonder what they're up to, what they're into, who they're with, all of that. There's no trust or how they're going to treat you. Okay. In a healthy relationship, there's growth. I said that. There is each person will have their own interests and they're capable and able and allowed to go pursue those interests. Now that can again vary from relationship to relationship. Sometimes you share a lot of interests, and so there isn't a whole lot of that. Or sometimes there's just not time. You got kids, you got work, you got one or two things you're interested in, and there's just not time. So it feels like you're not having that met. So you got to look at the bigger picture. But with a toxic person, they're going to control your comings and goings, what you do, what you don't do. They're gonna hate your friends. They're gonna hate your hobbies. They're gonna tear down your career, that kind of thing. Okay, you should minimally be able to have a job, right, and have the other person support you for bringing the income in and for the job you do, and like help you feel good about it. All right, in a healthy relationship, you feel loved. In a toxic relationship, you feel not good enough ever. Okay. All right. And you're made to feel that way because they tell you you're not good enough often. Oh, and the dogs are going to play. We're just going to keep talking. All right. So let's talk about conflict, healthy conflict versus unhealthy conflict, real quick here. So with a healthy relationship, they're playing right at my window with each other. Those two little girls. Okay. In a healthy relationship, the conflict, there is a direct, non-accusing dialogue. So, hey, I'm concerned about this. I'm struggling with this. I'm upset about this, and let me talk about it. But in that direct dialogue, people are using I statements. I feel like blah, blah, blah. I've noticed that blah, blah, blah. They're not blaming when you do this, when you do that. Okay, we all get into the habit of that, and we all have to catch ourselves. That is not a healthy way. And so, if you see it in a healthy relationship, it's best to pull back and say, okay, how can we dialogue better? So that maybe that's an area. Again, these are healthy is not going to be perfect. You're not going to have everything here all the time. But these kind of things, the point is, it should be able to be talked about, reworked, and healed within a relationship. But when you have a toxic relationship, there's so much bullying going on, so much secrecy, so much lack of accountability, that you can't ever get to a healthy dialogue. Because if you try to have a healthy dialogue about anything, the most minor things with a narcissist, if you try to say, "Hey, I'm concerned about how we're late all the time to see friends. What do you think about trying to get out of the house 10 minutes early?" Sounds pretty non-confrontational to me. No one's being accused. We're saying we here. We're saying we're stating the problem. What's a narcissist going to say? What are you accusing me of being the one that causes? You're the one that blah blah blah, or don't you tell me how to manage my time? Or they're going to meet that with an argument instead of a question for themselves. Maybe a healthy argument could be a no. It could say, you know what, I'm fine with it. If you feel like you need to be early, that's totally fine. We can take separate cars, but I'm fine with it. No one, I don't feel like I'm causing problems. And then, that's like, there's a way of talking that isn't confrontational, it's not like someone has to agree, is what I'm saying. And maybe that was a silly example, but all right, there's daily connection in a healthy relationship. That should have been in the first part. Daily connection. You connect with each other on a level beyond just, hey, how was your day? But like, really, hey, how was your day? Like, concern, connection. The you feel it when you have that real connection. With a narcissist, there is never connection. It's only connection going toward them. When they do pay attention to you, it's usually surface things they're trying to control, or a love bombing, and then it goes away. And they don't actually act on the things they're connecting with. So with daily connection, when you have conflict, that means you have a place to discuss. It means you have time to connect and hash out the things you need to. With a narcissist, you don't get that. Okay. The toxic person, you're not going to. In a healthy conflict, there's empathy and a gentle approach toward each other's needs and feelings. Gentle meaning non-accusatory. So in a toxic, it'll be blaming, gaslighting, lack of accountability, and shutdown that happens when you're talking about your feelings or your needs. And except their needs are supposed to be 100% met, and you're supposed to know what they are. Okay. Accountability is a high level thing for healthy conflict. Having both parties have accountability. Now, is it going to be there 100% of the time? No, but it should be present, or at least part of the deal, right? From both people. With a narcissist, as we know, then one of the biggest traits for spotting narcissism, or most cluster B types that are toxic, is lack of accountability. They blame everything on everyone else. They hide from the truth. They gaslight you when there's anything that they should be taking accountability for. That's the way it is. All right. In a healthy conflict in a relationship, it is moving toward a goal to improve things, to meet someone's need, to meet a need of the relationship, to air what we need to air, to vent to one another the things we need to vent, and then move towards something better. Right? In the toxic relationship, it becomes circular. The arguments are circular, the battles are circular. There's never conflict resolution. There's never, because of the lack of accountability, no one's moving toward anything. All right. There's proactive discussion in a healthy conflict. We talked about that. There's space to recover. Okay. So in a healthy relationship, you learn each other's styles, and you learn what the other person needs and what you need in order to recover, so you can come back together from a place of understanding, not ego. Basically, a healthy conflict does not let the ego lead. It's going to be there. You don't want to back down. It's not like it's natural to just be like, "Oh, you're right." Like I'm I don't have a feeling about that. No, your feelings plus your ego to need to be right is going to be present sometimes, right? But in a healthy relationship, we back away from that, and consider the whole of the relationship. We consider the other person as well as ourselves, not just them. Okay? And not just us. But the way it works between the two of you, so that, and then taking space to recover, so that when you come back together to have to resolve it, you're in a better place. You're in a better place in your own head. Okay. They won't give you space in a toxic relationship, or they shut down in silence and call it space. That's not space. Space is, "Hey, I need some space right now. I'll be back in 5 minutes," or whatever, that's not silent treatment. Respect and trust, we talked about that, and, that's okay. So in toxic communication, we do video after video, and each one has its own video, each thing they do, okay? Bullying, blaming, blame shifting, you statements, "It's your fault," gaslighting, all the ways of gaslighting, and lots of videos on gaslighting. We'll do another one soon, but I've got a bunch on here. No accountability. They shut you out, they shut down, they go silent, they punish. It's punitive. Unhealthy, toxic conflict is punitive, punishing. It is, there's yelling, there's slamming sometimes, or there's silence, and there's stone cold gazes, and there's lack of empathy, lack of compassion, lack of understanding, lack of awareness of your feelings or the feelings of for the relationship itself. Often that's what we're looking for, right? Do you care about this relationship? It's not even a me thing, it's an us thing. Yeah. Whereas there's no connection and there's no empathy. Or there's empathy in the sense of, if you watch my video last week on cognitive empathy, you see that they know exactly what you're feeling. They don't act on it. They don't it does it's like, I remember feeling cognitive empathy like this. Like, "Oh, he gets it. Boom, brick wall." That's it. He gets it, and what? So I was like always, "And then?" But there was never an "and then." All right. That's what I got there for healthy versus, and I could go on and on and on. So if there's any, I'm going to go to questions and then come back a bit. Let's see. Connor, hello. Yes, understanding. I remember saying it is not about it's not about right or wrong. You're right or wrong. It's about understanding each other. She would do that thing where they look at you, but it's looking right through you. That's exactly what I'm just talking about. Like, "Oh, I see her get it. Boom, looking right through you. There's nothing more, and what? And what are we gonna do about this together? How can you know?" All right, let me see. Lyle said, "After 8 months, your ex came back after ghosting and texted like crazy and acts like your best friend and won't meet up. Am I being moved off shelf? She has been texting so nice and wishing me good morning." That's a Hoover. That somebody wrote that too, right? That is a Hoover. They can still Hoover and keep distance, or are they devaluing? So I just talked about this. Was it yesterday? Hoovers? Go watch yesterday's video, Lyle. I just talked about Hoovers yesterday. Yes. Anytime someone toxic is trying to get back in, anytime someone that has devalued you to the point where they treated you in an inhumane way and did not respect you in the relationship and took off, or you have left them and they're trying to get back, you have left them and they're trying to contact you, not even get back, it's a Hoover. My guess is she wants some momentary attention until she's on to her next victim. She wants some she so they recycle supply. They're like, it's been a while. Wonder what Lyle's doing. I wonder what Lyle's doing. Oh yeah, Lyle gave me good attention. I'll go over there and get some. Yeah, it's sick and it's sad for you because you're thinking it means something. Remember that a Hoover is not about you, it's about them. It's about them needing something from you. It's not about, we had a good thing and we should try and put it back together. Nope. That's what it is for us, but it isn't for them. Um, you didn't realize they're yes, hoovering. You fell from one recently. Yeah, and the nice Hoover, I have another one about when they're suddenly nice to you a couple weeks ago. So if you can find that one, it's not too far back. It's worth it because that is um, that's a one way the Hoover gets in quickly. Oh, they're suddenly nice. They've changed. They had a change of heart. Maybe they've been to therapy. They've seen the errors of their ways. Somebody hurt them and now they understand what it feels like to be hurt. So maybe they've changed. None of it true. Okay. So steer clear if you can of the Hoover. I'm going to just peek here and see if any of this has. All right, let's go back to this topic here. Oh, she moved on to a new guy and dumped me like nothing after such a great love bombing, and now she's after so long started to. That's because she doesn't have supply, or if she does, she's working several supply at a time. Yeah, this is her getting attention. Don't fall for it. Keep yourself safe, keep yourself away from it, break the trauma bond to it, and move on to someone healthy or yourself, first of all, right? Take care of yourself first. Um, Not worth your time. Mm-mm. And that's the thing. They create scarcity when they disappear. And then they give you abundance, only to the later drop you again and create scarcity. So it's a cycle with them. Okay. All right. For emotionally, I wanted to talk a little more about emotionally safe and unsafe. Here's another list I made a while back on emotionally safe versus unsafe. I'm going to just read it safe and then read it unsafe so that I'm not taking too much time here. When you're in an emotionally safe relationship, you feel listened to, you feel heard, active listening. It's not everyone's good at it, but once in a while, right? Um, you're able to assert your own boundaries and respect, and you're able to have your boundaries respected, and vice versa. Okay, it's validating. It's validating for you. It's validating for them, and the relationship itself is validating. Okay, it they want you to grow. You want them to grow. You want the relationship to grow. You're looking forward to the growth in the relationship. They don't tell you what to think or how you should feel. They let you have your feelings. They may contest them and say, "Hey, I don't understand this. I thought this," but they let you have it. They understand that that is how you're feeling, and you them. Um, they let you talk and stay neutral. They don't get reactive so quickly. Now, if you're with someone who is also a survivor, you're going to have triggered people, two triggered people. So this one needs work sometimes, but when it's really, really healthy, there's an ability to keep the ego out of it just long enough to stay neutral enough to have a conversation. Okay, there's patience with one another. There's non-judgmental listening. You don't feel like everything you say is going to be used against you later. They don't I can't read what I wrote there. They keep their word. Um they don't take your difficulties personally. And again, if you're with someone who's also been with someone toxic, you may have triggers around that one, and they may have triggers around that one, and that but seeing that it's a trigger, not a manipulation tactic, and seeing them work through their trigger or you work through your trigger, that's where it becomes healthy. Okay, they keep their word. There is compassion. The truth is honest and clear. You know who that person is, who they are. You don't question it. When you see something that you question that seems off, you watch and you're able to see, oh, they're having a really bad, oh, I see where it's coming from, without justifying bad behavior. Does that make sense? Um, they empathize beyond cognitive empathy. They empathize through actions, through compassion, through understanding, and through emotional connection. Um, you're okay. A healthy relationship, it's okay to have silence. Silence isn't the silent treatment. All right. And there is the most important part, in my opinion, reciprocal friendship in a healthy relationship. Okay. Now we're going to go to an unsafe, unhealthy, toxic relationship or relationship with a narcissist. Okay. They don't admit uh, any anything that they've done. They don't hear your needs, or let me rephrase that. They hear your needs. They don't act on them. Not that everyone has to give you what you need, but there is such a depletion of need when you're with a narcissist that these needs start coming out, right? And they refuse. There is defensiveness all the time over every little thing, often. Self-righteousness. You can be self-righteous in a healthy way, but self-righteousness without any just cause or any it's not a good self-righteousness. You know what I mean? Empty apologies. The apologies in a healthy relationship are sincere. They are from the heart. They are acted on, and the changes, even if they're minor, begin to happen. With a toxic person, it's an empty apology if you even get one. I mean, I know of people that have never heard one in 20 years, not one apology. That's impossible. It's impossible to not have a real apology in a healthy relationship for 20 years. Because in 20 years, you better bet something's happened you need to apologize for, even if it's stepping on someone's toe, even if it's a super minor infraction, so to speak, right? Nah, their apologies are empty or they're pointed. Like, I'm sorry that you heard it that way. I'm sorry that you think I said that. I'm sorry that we've had talks on apologies. So, okay, toxic. They avoid their issues. Yeah, they put them onto you, so you deal with them, but they avoid them. Okay, they have flattery is shallow. You begin to see through the love bombing, and that it's simply flattery, shallow flattery. Okay, instead of genuine. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. It kind of feel things. It's empty and it lacks any empathy that comes through. Right? They demand your trust. They cross your boundaries, push your boundaries, stomp on your boundaries. In fact, you're not allowed to have boundaries until your boundaries are so small. Yeah. All right. There's lies all over the place, and there's no personal growth in a toxic relationship. For that person, you may be growing because you figure out something's wrong and you're like pulling away from the relationship, but within the relationship, there should be reciprocal growth as well as the relationship growing, as well as each person, right? Okay. And there's no real friendship. People say often, I lost my best friend when they're talking about a narcissist. But then if you really think about what friendship is, they can't list how that person was their friend in more than maybe three points. Whereas there should be hundreds of points of why someone is your friend, right? Okay. So, whoa, I keep knocking that. Sorry. All right. That's that. Let's see. I got more if you want it, but this is a it's often asked about, and so I just collect information and experiences and try and help. Okay. Um so yes, Lyle, building your self-worth is super important. They do see right through it when you have low self-worth. A toxic person will see right through it. What they're doing is they're looking for your vulnerabilities quickly. They have radar that picks it up. That's what the cognitive empathy does. Cognitive empathy is like a radar system that goes, ooh, what's going on with that person? And if they see you have low self esteem, see a person with empathy in the sense of emotional or compassionate empathy, we would, as you call yourself an empath, that would be what you would do, would be like, oh, they're vulnerable and they feel low about themselves. I'm going to be careful with that. With them, I'm going to treat that. I'm going to be careful how I. Not that people need to walk on eggshells for you, but you know what I mean. They're going to be kind. With a narcissist, they're going to take that and they're going to go, oh, let me build them up by telling them they can tell me how amazing I am. Sorry, that's what they do, right? And I'm going to let them give me all this attention, and that's going to fill up their low self esteem cup. And then I'm going to do whatever the heck I want with them. So yeah, that's what they do. They use it. Yeah. Okay. Anything else today? You've 44 and you've been in an emotionally safe relationship, so it's hard to date. Oh, you've never been in an emotionally safe relationship. Hard to date and know that what I should put up with. It is. It really, really is. It's another topic on how to date, right? How to go looking for this healthy thing. It's out there. We just have to be careful, and we have to be healthy ourselves so that we can set the boundaries, healthy within ourselves, right? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they go for it. They go for that. Well, what do I have here? Do you want more healthy relationship stuff, or shall we end? Since you guys are in here, I'll leave it up to you. um May as well just add it, right? Let's just add it. So I'll take a minute here to say, if you need help with anything, if you feel like you're in an unhealthy relationship and you're in something toxic and you need help with anything, check out the info in the main description of the video. There's information on support groups to help you get over to queenbeeing.com, get over to our Facebook group, Spanily group over on Queen or on Facebook. Join up with anything you can. There's lots of free help for peer group. There is also a coaching group that is there's a charge for that one. It's $60 a month though for lots of meetings, like for real. It's like 3 meetings a week for 4 weeks. Okay. And that's with me. And then we talk one-on-one within a group setting for a few minutes each group, however long, it takes to get through each person. And things like this come up. So how to get through this, how to get out of it, any help you need, that group coaching is there. And it's a fabulous group of people as well. So there's lots of support. And if you need one-on-one help, I'm available for that as well. So check that out. There's all kinds of help for this. Okay. Let's get back to this real quick. What are we saying here? Okay. All right. Last bit, healthy relationships. Let's just go through these. You have space to be you in a healthy relationship. What is a healthy relationship? Let's end with the positive today. Okay. What is a healthy relationship? You have space to be you. You do your own thing and you are together in the sense that you are you within the togetherness. You're not becoming something else. All right. You both speak your truth and you do so respectfully and fairly. There's authenticity, right? And transparency. Okay. You argue with purpose when you need to argue, with the aim of resolution, understanding, productivity toward the relationship growing, fairness, and you know how to apologize, and so do they. And it's sincere. Apologies are sincere. Apologies mean something. They mean, I see what happened. I see where my part in this is. Okay. Healthy relationships. You love yourself. Okay. You love the other for who they are. So you not only love them, you love you and you love the relationship. Okay. Number 5 here, joy is present. Even when there's hard times, there's still the ability to connect through joyfulness. Not every single day, but most of the time. There's compromise and balance in a healthy relationship. What's that, right? There is ever-present kindness. Even when you're fighting, even when you're angry, even when you're hurt, you still like that person. You may not like what they're doing or in that moment want to deal with them, but you still, on the whole, like them. How many of us can say that with a narcissist, right? Like, truly, do you like them? You may love them, you may be trauma bonded to them, but is there like this friendly friendship feeling of like sometimes, but not always? Trust. Trust them to be who they are and you who you are, right? It's consistent and there's openness. All right. Number 9, no grudges. You let things go. In a healthy relationship, there may be a little bits that hang on from, but the overall, you're not having to like worry about the one time you got upset when you were hungry and you were out and blah, blah, blah 10 years ago. Okay. There's shared intimacy and there's comfort and you're comfortable being open and vulnerable with one another. And that takes time when you're a survivor. Okay. It feels safe. The anxiety is not always part of the dynamic. You may have your own anxiety, but instead of the feeling of like people step away from someone toxic and they go, I don't know, I just feel uncomfortable, especially when they're getting to know them. Like it doesn't feel safe. I feel anxious. I don't know why. And it's like, I'm worried about them. Why aren't they texting? Why are they in a healthy relationship? You don't need to have all that. Even if you have to work your way to get there because you're used to it from a past relationship. All right. Because they're present. All of the things that I was saying in the beginning make it so that the anxiety is way lower. You strive to understand one another, how to best connect and communicate with each other as individuals. So do you see what I'm saying? You see them as them and they see you as you. There isn't the enmeshment in a healthy relationship. There is two individuals coming together. Okay. Decisions are shared and compromises exist through balance. It's going to look different with each situation, right? You share values. Your time together is quality. Your time together is treasured, and um, it's wanted by both people. You encourage one another in life, and you respect the differences that you have. Okay, there we go. There is, in a large nutshell, actually, there's a lot of info. There's a lot of info on healthy relationships versus toxic relationships, ending with what a healthy relationship could look like. Okay. Lots of other things could be added. That's what I got for today. So, what do we say here? When I get a hello text, it's like getting a shot. I know you get so happy. You've got to block this person, Lyle, if you can manage to do so. Block her, because what happens, go back and watch a trauma bond video so you understand what's happening. But, and I know I've literally referenced 5 different videos for you, but what you're asking is like an entire hour talk, and it's great. And I appreciate you asking. And also, there's lots of info to help you. So, trauma bonding, what's happening is every time you are literally getting a shot to the brain of your own brain chemistry that's surging all these different brain endorphins, dopamine go, your dopamine seeking, boom, you're going to, it's basically akin, if you can picture pulling a slot machine or playing or gambling. Everybody knows what that feeling's like when you just kind of keep winning, right? Or shopping, right? You want to keep getting, but maybe not everyone, but you can visualize that, right? It's the same thing. Same thing's happening in the brain. So it literally is giving you a chemical rush that will make you feel happy. Those are the endorphins that are making you feel happy. If you understand it, that it's your chemistry, it's a little easier sometimes to step away from it. So block, 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 so you don't have that. And go fill your cup somewhere else, not necessarily in a person, but in life. Go enjoy your life, right? That's the best we can do, is just learn to break these trauma bonds. Okay. All right. Yes, thank you, Shastina. Good info there for Lyle. I'm going to be going now, and I will see you guys. Excuse me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. And if you want texting notifications of my going live, text me at 33222 and put the word LISELIVE, LISELIVE, hit send, and I will text you a few minutes before I'm on here most of the time. Okay. Hey, Christine. That's it. I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.